Hare Krishna. Don't let the mind control the activities meant to control the mind. The mind often acts like our inner enemy. And the mind, it sabotages us. When we are trying to do one thing which is important for us, the mind just distracts us to this and that, in that way it sabotages us. And there are certain activities which are meant to control the mind. So for example, our mantra meditation, our scriptural study, these are activities which are meant to control the mind. By doing these activities consistently, the mind will become calm, the mind will become purified. But the mind is so cunning that it sabotages these activities, that it takes control of these activities. So for example, suppose there is a war going on between two armies, and the first army has got some weapons by which to check the other army. And now these weapons, they're about to shoot, maybe some guns to be shot at the other army. And then suppose that other army has an agent inside. And this spy suddenly catches and controls the machine. So just when it is about to shoot, it moves the machine so that instead of shooting at the enemy, it starts shooting wildly in the air. The enemy stays unhurt and the enemy keeps advancing. So similarly, when we, for example, say chant the holy names of Krishna, at that time these holy names of Krishna, this mantra meditation, this is meant to hit at the anarthas in our mind, at the anger, at the greed, at the lust, at the selfishness, and by hitting, it brings the mind under control. However, the same mind, so we are meant to chant the holy names, but the mind is inside us. And just as the bullet shot need to hit the enemy to floor them, similarly, the holy names that we chant, they are meant to hit the mind. They are like the medicine for the mind. When they hit the mind, within the mind, the anarthas that are there, they get weakened, they get curbed. But what the mind does is, like a spy taking control of the gun and misdirecting it so that it shoots into the air. Just when we are chanting, the mind starts wandering. The mind makes our consciousness go here. What about, what that person said? You have to do this. What if that goes wrong? How are you going to manage this? The mind starts thinking about all the things in the universe. And our consciousness, instead of going towards the holy name, instead of taking the fount of the holy name and absorbing it within, it misdirects everywhere. So when the bullet of the holy name doesn't hit the anartha in the heart, then we don't get purified. We stay as it is, contaminated. And what happens? We are shooting in the air, we think, I have done the ritual, I have done my practice of chanting. But then anarthas continue hitting us. We still feel tormented by anger, lust, greed. But if we want to become purified, we need to make sure that the gun hits the target, that the bullets from the gun hit the target. So Krishna says that when we are practicing the process of yoga, yato nischalati manaschanchala astiram tatastato niyam yaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet. In 6.26, Krishna says that wherever and whenever the mind wanders, bring it back under the control of the self. And Krishna is talking this in the context of the process of yoga. The process of yoga, culminating in Bhakti Yoga, is meant to control the mind. But the mind takes control of this process of Bhakti Yoga and misdirects our consciousness even in the ambit of Bhakti. And that's why Krishna culminates this by saying that the best way to control the mind is to focus it on Him. Yoginampi sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajite yomam same yuktatamo mataha. That among all yogis, the topmost are those who fix their mind on me. So rather than letting the mind run here and there, especially during the process of chanting, we need to remember, this is the time when I have to focus my mind on Krishna. And we gird our determination for a battle to focus the mind. And although it will require some effort, the return will be much greater. If the enemy is going to come and attack, the effort to fight them off will be far greater. But with the gun, the enemy is shot, some effort is required to keep the gun focused on the target. But the effort will be much lesser. So like that, if we curb the anarthas and focus the mind and during chanting, the effort we will have to put in for self-mastery will be far lesser, then the anarthas take control of us, and then we have to reap the consequences. So by girding ourselves for the fight, we can actually ensure that the activities meant to control the mind successfully control the mind and are not controlled by the mind. Thank you. Hare Krishna.